Hey, Dr. Amy here. In this video, I'm showing you how to do a quick self-breast exam. By doing these simple steps, you could save your life. Whether you're trying to detect breast cancer early or if you're trying to detect a breast cancer recurrence, this video is for you. But you absolutely need to know what you're looking for. Let me show you exactly what to do, starting with step 1, a visual check. Find a well-lit mirror and remove your clothing. Now, I want you to stand tall in front of that mirror. This is going to allow you to visually examine your breasts and note any differences over time. Place your hands on your hips and then take a moment to visually check your breasts again. This is going to allow you to establish a baseline as to what is normal. Pay close attention to any changes in size, shape, or color. And be mindful of any dimpling, puckering, or bulging of your skin. This could be an early sign for further investigation. Okay, on to step number 2, nipple check. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into the mirror examination. As you look at your breasts, check for any changes in the appearance of your nipples or any inversion of your nipples. An inverted nipple, so a nipple pointing inwards rather than outwards, can be an early sign that something's going wrong. Also, examine for any redness or rashes on your breasts. Awareness of these specific visual cues are good to know for early detection of breast cancer. Okay, next is step number 3, discharge. Now let's focus on fluid discharge. While still in front of the mirror, check for any discharge from your nipples. It could be watery, milky, yellowish, or even blood. Any unexpected discharge should be documented for further discussion with your healthcare provider. It's not always something that's cause for concern, but it should definitely be discussed with your healthcare team. If discharge is present, it could be a sign of a deeper issue. And this is exactly how one of the breast cancer thrivers that I work with in the Cancer Freedom program discovered her breast cancer. She was experiencing discharge from her nipples and decided to discuss it with her doctor. Originally, she was not overly alarmed. At the time, she did have a young son. Now, she had finished breastfeeding some time ago. Maybe she was still getting some discharge because of that breastfeeding history. This was not the case. This discharge was her first sign of breast cancer. Now, it was this self-breast exam that caught the early signs of her breast cancer. But not all organizations actually recommend a self-breast exam. And here's why. The American Cancer Society actually stopped recommending self-breast exams as they said there was little evidence that it actually caught early breast cancer. It wasn't effective in detecting early breast cancer. Now, obviously, this change in guidelines, it triggered some really mixed opinions and feelings. And supporters of this decision state that this recommendation is based on science, it's based on evidence, not opinion. Studies have found that women who complete self-breast exams are not more likely to detect early breast cancer. And on the other end, many women have said that they have caught their own breast cancer through self-breast exams. Whatever the guideline states, it will always be beneficial to be familiar with your own body. Always. Knowing what is normal for you, well, that's the first step in self-advocacy for your own health. That's exactly why I continue to recommend self-breast exams and why I complete them myself. Okay, but on to the next step, and that's movement. We're going to start by feeling your breasts, and you're going to choose a movement pattern that best suits you. Whether it's an up and down approach or spiral or circular around your breasts, whatever works best for you. The key here is consistency. Think of it as mowing a lawn or painting a wall. This not only makes the process more systematic, but allows you to keep track of what areas you've covered and what areas you haven't. Use this pattern to feel all around your breasts. You're going to be checking for any lumps, soreness, or abnormalities. Next up is step 5, pressure. Use a variety of pressures to examine your breasts. This ensures you're feeling all layers of your breast tissue. Use light pressure to feel for your skin or the layers just below it. Use medium pressure to feel the middle of your breasts and firm pressure to feel deeper into your breast. By using this approach, you'll feel all layers of your breasts and including going up into your armpits. Okay, but that brings me to the next step, and this is going to include changing positions. Many women find this part of the self-breast exam easier to conduct in the shower, where it's warm, your skin is wet and slippery, and it's easier to conduct this part of the exam. This also allows you to kind of work this into your monthly routine. You're already undressed in the shower, lathered up with soap, you might as well complete a self-breast exam. Okay, but that brings me to the next step, and this is going to include changing positions. You've looked and felt your breasts standing and with your hands on your hips. Now I'm going to get you to raise your arms. Raise your arms above your head and repeat a visual check. This helps ensures you're examining your breasts from different angles. Changes in your breasts might be more apparent in different positions, so that's why we change. Having your arms raised above your head will allow you to examine your breasts in a different way. You may see different dimpling or puckering in this new position. Also repeat the same touching patterns that you prefer while standing in this position with your arms raised over your head. Then once you're done in this position, I want you to move to lying down. Let's transition to the lying down part of your exam. With your clothes still removed, lie down flat on your back. Create firm pressure with your hand and feel around your breasts again. This step again is going to allow you to feel for any abnormalities in your breast tissue. Another breast cancer survivor that I work with in the Cancer Freedom Program discovered her breast cancer in this lying down position. She was lying down on her bed and she noticed some pulling or puckering of her skin. It seemed abnormal and like something inside of her breast was not allowing her tissue to fall as normal. This was her first sign of breast cancer. It was this lying down position that led her to her diagnosis. Now, if during your exam you come across a lump or an abnormality, it's important to note that not all lumps are cancerous. In fact, many women experience benign lumps. It may be nothing at all. During my doctorate training, I had a pain in my breast. It would come and go, but I did end up getting it checked out. There was nothing to worry about. Not cancer, totally benign. There are many times when women experience bumps, lumps, or pains in their breasts, and it's nothing at all. You don't need to be overly concerned, but it is important to get it examined. You do want to address it. Many women, after finding a lump in their breast, become so worried that they actually avoid booking an appointment with their doctor. They're terrified of cancer or a cancer recurrence that they simply avoid it. Do not let this be you, especially if you have a family history of cancer or you're particularly nervous about being diagnosed. Then you do not want to avoid having it looked at. This will not help your situation at all, so do not make this mistake. It's likely nothing concerning, but you do want to get it checked out ASAP. If you notice any changes or something alarming, then it's time to book an appointment with your healthcare provider. But how can you make a self-breast exam part of your routine? Many of us know that a self-breast exam is important to do, but we simply don't do it. We get busy, we forget. It happens to all of us. That is natural. But here's how you can work it into your routine. There is a popular initiative called Feel It on the First. Many women complete a self-breast exam every month on the first of the month. This is a regular reminder to do a self-breast exam. It's easy to remember, so with the start of every month, do a self-breast exam. The more frequently you complete your exams, the easier it becomes at noting what's normal and what's abnormal. If you keep up with your regular exams, then this is going to help you become more familiar with what's going on with your body. Now, the optimal time to complete a self-breast exam in correlation with your menstrual cycle, if you still have one, well, that time is 1 week after the start of your period. During this period, the hormones with your menstrual cycle are less likely to make your breasts swollen or tender. But what is most important is to actually just complete the self-breast exam. If it happens to be in the middle of your cycle or towards the end of your cycle, that's better than not doing it at all. Many women get caught up in making sure it's at the perfect time, but your first focus is to make sure it gets done on a regular basis every month. Focus on that first. Then, once you're consistent and working it in as part of your routine, you can look at switching it to the optimal time in your menstrual cycle. Now, life is busy, and month to month, you may forget things. So the best way to monitor your breast health is to keep a journal of your findings. This can be as simple as just using a note on your phone. If you use a pen and paper, then you can create a visual diagram of your breasts and then note where any lumps or sensitivities may have been found. This practice not only helps you monitor changes over time, but it keeps you in tune to follow up the next month. Being familiar with your body, that's what's key. Knowing what's different and what's new, well, that's going to help you get medical attention when you need it. Okay, so now that you know how to quickly and properly complete a self-breast exam, the next thing you need to know is what foods to eat to lower your risk of breast cancer. That's exactly why I'm linking up this next video here. Click the link here. I'll see you in the next video.